I'd like to introduce Hidalgo County Judge Richard Cortez. Please, Judge.
Well, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for being here. I think we have some exciting news to report this afternoon. I want to announce that yesterday, the Hidalgo County Commissioners Court approved for our Hidalgo County Health and Human Services Department to begin a health initiative that has deep economic implications to this process. The program is called the Essential Economic Trade Initiative, and it involves vaccinating Maquiladora workers in Reynosa with unused COVID-19 vaccines before they expire. Our initial goal is to vaccinate up to 3,000 workers, but our hope is that we will vaccinate more as we receive more unused vaccines from across the state when they become available. I want to make it clear that no U.S. citizen will be denied any vaccine, or anyone who wants one can get one from our area hospitals, private pharmacies, UTRGV, or even our Hidalgo County clinics. This program is taking leftover vaccines that are soon to expire and vaccinating Maquila workers before the vaccines are destroyed. We think this is a good thing. We view this as a smart economic move aimed at restoring to normal one of our region's biggest economics engines, which is the Maquiladora industry. Similar programs have been started in San Diego, California, in El Paso, Brownsville, and plans to start in other locations in other U.S.-Mexican borders. So before we take any questions, I want to introduce to you a key partner in this program, which is the City of McAllen, which today is being represented by Commissioner Mr. Pepe Cabeza de Vaca. Commissioner?
Thank you, Judge. Appreciate it. Good afternoon, everyone. We in the City of McAllen are very happy and excited to participate with Hidalgo County in this important program because we also recognize and know about the importance of restoring our cross-border economic activity back to normal. With the help of the U.S. Customs and Border Protection, Maquiladora workers from Reynosa will be bused across the McAllen-Hidalgo-Reynosa International Bridge to a secure facility where Hidalgo County Healthcare workers will vaccinate them with the 1 dose of Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Those workers will be returned to Reynosa fully vaccinated and hopefully remain fully productive employees at a very critical time in our nation's recovery process. Just this week, the National Retail Federation predicted that imports this year will proceed at record levels and warn of potential supply chain issues if this import slows down for any reasons. The key among those will be the illness of the Mexican side of the border. This bridge alone in McAllen annually generates $31 million in revenue to the City of McAllen, not to mention the millions of dollars worth of cargo that crosses through all the Hidalgo County bridges throughout the year. This includes just under 650,000 trucks at the FAR International Bridge and just under 30,000 trucks at the Ansalduas International Bridge as part of the official supply chain to the manufacturing facilities on the U.S. side of the border. Now I would like to introduce you to someone who represents not only our close relationship with our neighbors in the South, but also can highlight why our proximity and partnership of so many cross-border issues start right here. Please help me welcome Consul de México, Froilán Yescas Cedillo. Consul, bienvenido.
Muchas gracias a todos. Es un día feliz. Estamos muy agradecidos con las autoridades del condado. Señor juez, su trabajo desde antes de la pandemia y ahora ha sido extraordinario. A usted y a todo el equipo, muchas gracias a quienes han ayudado tanto como Index, Patrick, muchas gracias. De verdad, es un honor para mí poder felicitarlos, a la ciudad de McAllen que ha dado todo el apoyo, todo, particularmente en esta crisis. Ya se señalaron los aspectos relevantes en lo económico, pero permítanme decir el lado profundamente humano que tiene esta acción. Salvar vidas humanas siempre será algo que quedará en nuestra satisfacción, más allá del ejercicio del servicio público, que es pasajero. Y esto es lo que ha ocurrido el día de hoy. Se están salvando vidas y se está previniendo la enfermedad. Y quiero ser muy breve, pero aprovechar en este momento para hacer un llamado a nuestras comunidades, para que aquí, a todos los residentes del Valle de Texas, que tienen la gran oportunidad de disponibilidad de vacunas, lo hagan. A los que tienen dudas, sigan teniendo dudas, pero vacunados. A los que no lo han hecho por temor a enfermarse, es mejor sentir un ligero dolor en el brazo, tener alguna febrícula, que padecer la enfermedad y ser intubado y estar luchando tan desesperadamente como muchos desgraciadamente ya lo han hecho. Entonces hacemos un llamado a que se vacunen, a que acudan aquí, todas las facilidades en el condado de Hidalgo para obtener una vacuna. No dejen de hacerlo y muchas gracias a nombre del Gobierno de México por todo lo que se está haciendo el día de hoy. Gracias.
At this point, I'd like to introduce Keith Patridge, who heads the McAllen Economic Development Corporation. He's going to give you a little bit of explanation of how the Maquiladora industry works and why it's so beneficial with regard to this project. Keith?
Well, the first thing I would like to do is on behalf of the board and staff of the McAllen Economic Development Corporation, I would like to extend my appreciation to Judge, you, and the Commissioners Court, Commissioner, you, the Mayor, and the other commissioners of the City of McAllen for supporting this very, very important effort. And the Hidalgo County Health Department, Steve Elanius with the Chamber, and of course, Humberto Martinez, who is the president of Reynosa Index. This is very important. I don't know how many of you, we've been doing this for 34 years. And over that 34 years, we have helped recruit over 706 companies to McAllen and Reynosa. It was a strategy that happened in 1988, and it was really hatched by the leadership, political leadership, and the private leadership of the city of McAllen, who recognized that Reynosa is not another country. It's the south side of a major metropolitan area. And over the years, we have recruited these companies to Reynosa and McAllen. And I think better than me talking more about it is the statistics kind of give you an idea of what's happened. As I mentioned, we've recruited 706 companies. What's interesting is that it's almost evenly split U.S. and Mexico side. 335 on the McAllen side and 371 on the Mexico side. Those companies have employed about 40,000 people on the U.S. side and 188,000 on the Mexico side. And of course, part of that benefit is the complementary labor rates and the competitiveness that Mexico, Reynosa, supplies to our region. And as we have seen these companies grow, all of them, I will tell you, all of them have an operation both on the U.S. side and the Mexico side. Many of them started out being only warehousing, distribution type facilities on the U.S. side. But now we are seeing those companies that have grown over the 34 years that we've been doing this. They have grown to the point now where they have major operations on both sides. I will tell you right now, without getting into company names or anything, we are working for those companies that are already looking at or have already committed to construct over 1 million square feet of new space on the U.S. side in Hidalgo County, And those companies will employ over 1,500 employees in McAllen. And these are not just warehousing or lower skilled type jobs. Yes, there are some of those, but it also involves research and development, major engineering facilities where they will be doing design engineering on new product lines for the automotive and for the aerospace. We have many of those companies that we have moved in that started out supplying the plants in Reynosa that are now supplying SpaceX in Reynosa. So there's a synergy that works between the two sides of the border. We are unique because we have the ability to use the best of Mexico, the best of the United States, and offer to a company so that they have the best of both worlds. And from that, it's very, very unique. We have problems sometimes. I mean, we're dealing with the border crossings. We've been dealing with violence for a number of years. We've now been dealing for the last year and a half with the pandemic. And those plants have continued thanks to the good management of the managers and their emphasis on safety, the social distancing and everything. I will say that while we have had some that have had outbreaks, the plants have really been able to continue to operate without major impact in Reynosa. It goes to show that they care about their employees, and this is just another example where we can help those managers and those workers that are working in those plants to protect themselves from this virus and hopefully be able to continue to operate, as the Commissioner mentioned, continue to be productive members that will continue to allow us to grow our economy to do well. All you have to do is talk to some of the hoteliers and the restaurant owners, and they'll tell you the importance of the, what we call expense account travelers that come in with the manufacturing companies. And so with that, what I would like to do now, to give you more specifications on the plants and more of the data on the plants, I'd like to ask Humberto Martinez, who is the current president of the Reynosa Index, to come forward, and he can answer questions on the companies.
Muchas gracias, Keith. Primeramente, quiero agradecer al juez Cortez, muchas gracias. Pepe, muchas gracias. Cónsul, después de tantas reuniones que hemos tenido, especialmente quiero agradecer también mucho a Eddie, que ha sido parte fundamental de que esto suceda. Y muchas gracias, Eddie. Ha sido una brillante labor lo que hemos hecho en estos últimos días. Y hoy acabamos de terminar de vacunar a 500 gentes. Y mañana vamos por la meta de 1,000. ¿Correcto, Eddie? Y ahí vamos a estar, como estuvimos hoy, con una cosa tremendamente organizada, y gracias también al Departamento de Custom Border, que nos ha ayudado bastante, Carlos Rodríguez. Muchas gracias. Lo que decía aquí hace un momento, ahorita nosotros en Reynosa tenemos 155 compañías maquiladoras en Reynosa, y tenemos 137,000 gentes empleadas en Reynosa también. Y la meta para esta vez de las vacunas, y vamos a tener que seguir con este periodo, juez, si nos lo permiten, de que ahorita estamos en el proceso de 3,000 vacunas, pero la meta es para Reynosa, con personas de 18 a 39 años, 86,000 gentes. Entonces, hoy pasamos 20 camiones, ¿verdad? 20 autobuses, con cada autobús con 25 gentes, extremadamente controlable. Venían un espacio disponible y otro no, para tener ese control que hemos tenido muy exageradamente como lo hemos planeado. Otra cosa, lo que mencionaba Kit, los controles y protocolos sanitarios que hemos tenido en Reynosa, hemos evitado que esta pandemia se propague en nuestra región. Y gracias ahora a ustedes por apoyarnos a nosotros y traer a la gente a vacunarnos para evitar esta clase de problemas que hemos tenido en el pasado. Ahora, con la cuestión de que mencionaba aquí hace un momento, queremos evitar una vez más que se nos siga propagando esta situación. Sabemos que ahorita está avanzando un poquito más, pero a raíz de las vacunas que vamos a estar ofreciendo esta vez, vamos a tratar de minimizarlo con el esfuerzo de desarrollar esta región esencial económicamente. Muchas gracias, juez. Muchas gracias a todos ustedes por estar aquí con nosotros. Y Eddie, estoy extremadamente agradecido contigo por toda esa organización que hemos tenido. Muchas gracias.
Now I'd like to introduce to you the head of our Department of Health and Human Services, Eddie Olivares, who will tell you about how the first day went.
Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, everyone, sorry. Eddie Olivares, Chief Administrative Officer for Hidalgo County Health and Human Services. Today is a tremendous honor to be here. The key factor to this is that this whole issue has to do with essential economic trade initiative. We cannot highlight that strong enough. I just want to give you a little story. Early on in the pandemic, this thing's been going on for a year and a half. We've been full in operation. Nearly 10,000 people have died. Upwards of 90,000 have been infected. You see the numbers every day. But one of the things, I don't know if you remember, one of the stories I know that many of you covered was that initially when there was a shortage of ventilators, and there was a shortage of what they called the circuitry for the ventilators. And the circuitry for a ventilator, the tubing and all that goes into a ventilator. Well, guess where those are assembled? Guess where those are made? Reynosa. Reynosa. Okay? So that system worked thanks to the work and the effort put forth in this trade initiative and this economic initiative. We're getting through this. It takes all our efforts. Today, with the support of Customs Border Protection, Chief Rodriguez and his team, with the support of course, el señor Martinez Cantú from the Maquiladora Association, el cónsul, unas palabras hermosas, cónsul. Lo que dijo usted era tan importante para vacunar nuestra comunidad. Thank you. What the council said today and the importance of getting a vaccine is critical. And this is so important. Today we vaccinated 500. Today was our test run. We have our team out there. But this is just the first phase of a partnership with McAllen and the MEDC, partnership with Maquinadoras. We're starting it off, but we're going to hand it off like a professional football team to a bigger team, the City of McAllen. And they're a great team. City of McAllen has always come through in large-scale events. They've always been great partners. So Hidalgo County, Maquiladora Association, MEDC, we're all going to partner, and we're going to transition operations to the city, and that's all being coordinated. But to get the thing started, we needed to get operations going. Tomorrow we're looking at 1,000 vaccines. We have allocated 3,000 for this week. I'm looking at getting some additional vaccines next week. We're coordinating with the state of Texas to get some more Johnson & Johnson. But every single border community is coordinating with the state of Texas. We have El Paso, Del Rio, Laredo, Brownsville, Hidalgo, of course, Hidalgo County. We're all working with the state on getting the vaccine to be able to help these partners of ours in our community. The other critical point that I must make to everyone, and I cannot stress enough, everyone must get vaccinated. I know there's a lot of people who think that, no, I'm waiting. Well, I don't know what you're waiting for. We had, the day before yesterday, an increase of 30 people put into the hospital in a less than a 12-hour period. The majority of those people were less than 50, and all except 2 were not vaccinated. Not vaccinated. The 2 that were, there's some other medical complications that are involved, and we're looking into that. But the reality is, vaccine works on all the variants. Everyone's worried about the Delta, the Lambda, the California, the Brazilian, all the names. The vaccine controls it. Remember, the vaccine doesn't prevent COVID. It lessens illness and complications and keeps you out of the hospital. That's the goal. So from our part, I thank you. Thank you very much, Judge, Consul, everyone. Thank you.
We have one more person, and then we will take questions. This is Steve Alanius, head of the McAllen Chamber of Commerce.
I just want to kind of reemphasize what Eddie talked about. You know, in the 21st century, we can't operate in silos anymore. We are so interconnected, whether on the U.S. side in this region or in Mexico in terms of production and family ties and relationships. And so the sooner that we get everybody vaccinated, the sooner that people feel safe and we can open the bridges to non-essential travelers coming back and forth between Mexico and Texas is going to be a key for our success. Retail trade on an annual basis with Mexican national is over $1 billion a year. It is a critical component to our economy. It's a critical component to this region's economy, and it's also part of our DNA in terms of relationships. So I want to commend the judge, City Commission, and McAllen, Keith, for working to bring this together. But without us working together, we will never defeat this virus, and we can never get back to that normal that we're all looking forward to. So I think it's a great opportunity for us just to remember how important getting vaccinated is and how important it is the relationships that we have between Mexico and Texas. Thanks.
At this point, we'll take questions. Yes, sir.
Una de las preguntas que tengo es, ¿cómo tienen la vacuna y cómo la administran? ¿Qué es el proceso para que administren la vacuna?
Bien.
¿Hacen de este lado y en qué lado?
Bien, bueno, las vacunas las tenemos por parte del Estado por medio de Hidalgo County Health. Entonces, lo que está pasando en esta ocasión, están trayendo a la gente de las maquiladoras en autobuses, los cruzan a este lado, a una parte que está con seguridad, y ahí mismo los empleados de salud del condado de Hidalgo están vacunando a los empleados de la maquiladora. Después de eso regresan en los mismos autobuses a los empleados y esperamos que sigan ellos de una forma productiva para que esta cadena de economía no se rompa.
¿Y ellos son residentes de México?
Correcto.
¿O de los dos lados?
Generalmente son de México la mayoría, ¿verdad?
Son de México, sí.
Sí. Claro. Más o menos, Eddie, unas 3 horas. 3 horas, fueron 500 el día de hoy, el día de mañana se van a aplicar, primero Dios, 1000, el día siguiente 1000, y si traemos más, que estamos esperando a lo que nos dice el señor Olivares, seguiremos vacunando a estas personas.
¿Han establecido ciertos horarios para esta vacunación? Y yo sé que igual ya lo mencionamos en inglés, porque es importante, porque es tan importante vacunar al personal de las maquiladoras en México acá.
Claro, lo que pasa es de que en cualquier empresa tú tienes tu línea de producción y esa línea de producción puede afectarse porque tienes a gente que está enferma. Lo que estamos tratando de prevenir, ¿vamos de acuerdo? ¿verdad?
Sí,
Es que esta línea de producción no se atrase porque lo que se produce en México tiene que ver también con lo que se produce en Estados Unidos.
Sí, para que tengas una idea, la industria maquiladora en Reynosa exportó el año pasado 23 billones de dólares y al mismo tiempo importamos hacia Reynosa, México, 15 billones de dólares, para que veas la importancia que tiene de que nuestra gente siga con la salud que tenemos ahorita para seguir con ese proceso y recuperar la economía en ambos áreas de la frontera.
¿Y sobre los horarios? ¿Tienen horarios?
Sí, sí.
¿Cuántas personas vienen en los autobuses? ¿Cómo lo están llevando?
Vienen 25 personas por cada autobús. Cada autobús viene con su aire acondicionado y con sus baños. Sí, cómo no. Sí, aquí estoy con Eddie también. Eddie y yo estamos coordinando esta situación. Cada autobús viene con 25 personas, con aire acondicionado y con sus baños. Y todas las personas vienen identificadas correctamente con su nombre, apellidos, edades y de qué compañía vienen. Okay.
He understands English very well.
Recently, we understand 15 innocent people were shot near that industrial park, near that far Reynosa bridge. What are you all doing to ensure that companies still feel safe doing business in Reynosa?
Eddie?
No,
¿quieres contestar?
esto lo,
For you,
Es para usted.
Oh,
Que-
perdón.
Que hubo,
sí.
totalmente que hubo 15 personas que murieron tocante, que hubo unos balaseados.
Bueno,
We're really here to talk about.
About the vaccine,
exactly.
which is the important point.
Maybe you and I, we can talk later after this.
We appreciate the question, but
Yeah.
we want to continue with it.
Yes.
Sure.
How serious is the coronavirus situation in Reynosa? Because if you're doing well in Reynosa, you'll be able to go to Washington and say, open the bridges to ordinary citizens. Today you're saying you're focusing on the essential workers that work in the dealers, but the retail establishments in McAllen area, we say their work, the customer they get from Reynosa, their Bravo, etc., is essential too. That's important. So how many vaccines do you have spare? How many will you use on the dealer workers in this program? And would you have any spare for the general public?
So first, let me just say, there is no shortage of vaccine, okay? There is no shortage of vaccine. Anybody in the United States, anybody in Hidalgo County, anybody in Texas who wants to get a vaccination simply could go to our county health department, to any of our local hospitals, DHR, UTRGV, South Texas Health System, could go to CVS, could go to Walgreens, could go to any of those locations. Vaccine is very abundant and very easy to get a hold of. Judge?
Well, Steve, I appreciate the question. We have to follow the rules, and the rule says we cannot vaccinate in foreign soil. So everybody has to come to the United States to be vaccinated in the United States. We have some excess vaccines that are soon to be expired. Instead of throwing them away, we wanted to use them properly. We felt that starting with the maquila industry would be a good start. We're constantly working with the consul here and other representatives from the government to the extent that we can help our neighbors to the south with legal vaccinations on this side of the border. We would be happy to do it.
Is the 3,000 goal, indicative of how many doses are not expired, or do you know how many doses have expired?
The 3,000 was our initial startup goal. We wanted to be able to get that pretty quick, and we're able to get that quickly. But we're coordinating with state on a greater amount. Of course, the ultimate goal will be is get as many as we can to assist our partners. However, that's still being coordinated through the state. So hopefully next week, we'll have an additional 5,000 or 6,000, and we'll just work with the state on a week-to-week basis.
And you're supposed to administer that 3,000 by the end of this week, correct?
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
You said you had 88,000 employees in Reynosa, but you're giving out 3,000 doses. Do we know how many of the employees in Reynosa are vaccinated?
¿Cuál fue tu pregunta, perdón?
There are 188,000 employees in Reynosa.
¿Cuántos han vacunados de los 98, de los 1,037,000?
Sí, tenemos ahorita el plan de que la gente que está pendiente ahorita son 86,000 gentes de 18 años a 39 años.
About half.
Yeah.
About half. Okay, en español, you needed something?
Sí, lo mismo que dijo sobre el número de vacunas que van a necesitar.
Empezamos esta semana con 3,000 vacunas para empezar el programa, para iniciarlo. Pero nosotros estamos trabajando con la ciudad de McAllen, con el MDC, ya pedimos más vacunas, ya vienen en camino, más como de 5,000 a 7,000 vacunas más vienen esta semana que viene, pero hemos pedido mucho más que eso. Pero depende en qué puedo darles el Estado y estamos trabajando con ellos cada semana a ver qué tanto podemos recibir. Pero la capacidad es mucho más.
And if you all can explain which organization is driving the bus and which organization is housing like that facility where people
You want it in English or Spanish?
both if you don't mind English first.
Explícale,
Well, it's index.
sí, index, explícale cómo va en español.
¿Cómo qué?
¿Quieres saber cómo se está arreglando y haciendo todo?
¿Y
Ah,
quién
bueno.
son los voces? ¿Quién
Sí,
está encargado de
sí,
esta-
mira, estamos ahorita, cada compañía está organizando su cantidad de autobuses para poder vacunar a la gente. En este proceso de hoy fueron 20 autobuses, con 6 compañías. De esas compañías hay empresas que tienen 6,000, 7,000 empleos. Hay otras que tienen 300, 400 gentes. Y en este proceso estamos ahorita.
Yeah, Index, it's an organization of maquiladoras. It's kind of like the Chamber of Commerce over there. So they all got together, and each company then takes care of them. So they'll send they'll take care of their own bus, they'll take care of their own people, they'll identify these things. So they're working cooperatively here, collaboratively to bring.
Because I'm still trying to get my question answered. Inside where the workers are getting vaccinated, the facility is a CBP facility on the USA side is where I'm trying to make sure I understand.
They are on the bus. They are on the bus. They don't leave the
They
bus.
never
They
got
are
off
on
the bus.
Yeah,
Yes, ma'am.
yeah. They come in a bus, come in a bus to American soil, they're vaccinated in the bus, and then they're returned to
Two
Reynosa.
nurses are going in the inside of the buses to vaccine the people.
Right. So it's a very coordinated effort. The efforts are, the primary partner of this is Index. I want to make that very clear. Index is the primary financial supportive partner for this event, okay? They are actually providing licensed nurses from Mexico on each bus, supporting our efforts. Our team goes in and vaccinates. The Mexican nurse and the American healthcare worker combine their efforts to assure that everyone is safe. But it is very clearly and very quickly done on U.S. soil in accordance to all state rules and guidelines. And then they are transitioned back into Mexican soil, but it's all coordinated through Index.
And also, we rent an ambulance, a U.S. ambulance, in case we have something that the people feel sick.
It's on standby.
Yes, yeah. And we wait like 15 minutes after the shots, and then we take the buses back to Mexico.
One more question?
Señor juez, si pudiera decir en español, digo, parece que esta es una de las únicas esfuerzos y unión binacional, ¿no? Que se realiza con la frontera sur.
Pues Víctor, gusto saludarte otra vez. No, pues fíjate que eso está pasando en Sur California, en California, en la frontera de California, El Paso, creo que Laredo también está iniciando del río. So, gracias a Dios nosotros somos parte de este concepto, porque nosotros sabemos la importancia de tener estos arreglos con nuestra familia y con la gente que nosotros trabajamos cada día, que vivimos en la frontera. Todos nosotros sabemos la importancia de esto.
Thank you all. There is a fact sheet that we'll be handing out with additional information. There was a request made, Jenny.